What's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's your girl, Miss Honey. This is Monday impromptu video I'm putting out, and this video is really all about the whole Katt Williams, Wanda Smith situation that's going on. I guess you can call it a viral situation. Anyway, I am ready for bed. These are my bed clothes, so deal with it. Okay, but we're going to talk about this situation real quick. I want to get you guys' opinion on it. Of course, I want to weigh in with my own opinion. First of all, new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you. I promise you won't regret it, as well as that bell right next door. It'll tell you whenever I pop in with new videos, lives, and things like that. New or old, whoever you are, if you're a honeybee, you're a part of my tribe, you guys know, put those thumbs up, okay? Comment down below, and of course share the video. Okay, so let's talk about this whole Katt Williams, Wanda Smith thing. First of all, I saw the 20-minute YouTube clip of the Katt Williams V103 interview. It wasn't Wanda interviewing Katt. He was on the morning show. It really wasn't his interview. It was his counterpart, a friend of his, Red Grant. Red Grant called Katt Williams his brother. They first talked to Red Grant because he was going to be at the Atlanta Comedy Theater with Wanda. Wanda does it every Saturday, but Red was going to be headlining it for the weekend. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? Sold out shows. He's a really great comedian. Well, Katt Williams is Red's sort of mentor. So he came along. He hung out downstairs. He didn't even come into the studio. Red Grant was on. He was doing his own thing. And so Red Grant said, you know, now he's moving into a live stand-up show, stand-up special, that type of thing. And his brother, he never said his name, he just said his brother was helping him put it all together and to put it on. And so, you know, we did not know until after they had talked to Red Grant a little bit more about what he was doing and how he was doing it and how he was feeling. And then Frank cut with the question to Katt Williams that it was Katt Williams that was there. Of course, we knew by the description bar, but we didn't know, you know, just on interview alone. Like, it was a lovely surprise that it was Katt Williams. And when he was talking about, you know, speaking of doing specials, you one of the best to ever do it. How have you remained so successful? And he threw that question over to Katt Williams, and Katt Williams immediately said, well, I appreciate the question, but it sort of speaks to quantity. And then he starts talking about how he has the most comedy specials of any comedian, breathing or dead. Okay. And Franski's like, wow, like Franski was in awe of that. I know I was. Then he starts talking about how he had 7 more than Richard Pryor, 6 more than Dave Chappelle, I think 6 more than Martin Lawrence, and 5 more than Chris Rock. He said he had 6 more than Dave Chappelle, even though Dave Chappelle dropped 4 specials back to back to back on Netflix, right? And again, Franski was in awe. He was like, what? Really? How many is that? He said 9. I got 9 in total. 9 specials? Yeah. All right. So he then goes on to talk about how he owns every last body of work that he's ever done. He owns it. Lock, stock, and barrel. He don't owe no man. He don't have no loan on it. He didn't take no investment papers on it. He paid for it. Lock, stock, and barrel. He on his 19th consecutive 100-city tour. That means 19 times back to back to back, he did a 100-city tour. Just money, just money, just money, just money. He said because of Atlanta, Pimp Chronicles has earned over $24 million. He said the day that Monique came out with her plea for us to boycott Netflix, Netflix had just cut him a check for $2 million, $2.4 million to be exact, for his Netflix special. He's got 2 #1 comedy specials on HBO, Showtime, Comedy Central. Wasn't Comedy Central the home of the Dave Chappelle show? And y'all know I'm a diehard Dave Chappelle fan. Okay? And now he's on Netflix. He wasn't saying it like, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. He was just saying, this is why you're saying I'm one of the best to ever do it. I didn't see anything wrong with that. I didn't see him be that as being braggadocious. I didn't see that as him putting on. I didn't, because a lot of the callers that was coming in to Monday's after show, which we're going to talk about it, or Monday's morning show, which was after all of this other stuff had happened over the weekend, was talking about how he didn't come in love and he led with anger and all of that. And Wanda said he had an agenda. I don't know how he had an agenda. You said out of your own mouth that he didn't even want to come in the studio, that he was sitting in the green room. Frank Ski sent you to go get him. You went to get him and you said you had to beg him. You asked him over 50 times. He told you no repeatedly. You continued to beg him until he finally came on in. I don't know how you have an agenda and someone begs you. That's a very, very cunning spirit that tricks you into begging them repeatedly. She said out of her own mouth she didn't know him. She met him in passing a couple of times, but she didn't know him. She had never worked with him. They weren't friends. Okay? And I said all that because she got a little familiar with him and she started to do the things that she always does, which is cut up. You know what I'm saying? That's what she does. She's a comedian. Frank Ski said she does it with everybody. She goes back and forth with Sophia, Miss Sophia on the show. And I know there's other guests that come on that she kind of rib them and kind of make jokes and kind of, lighten the situation up. Sometimes it is tagging them a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You zinging them a little bit, you giving them what for a little bit. That's what she do. And she said out her own mouth that she's a cusser, that she got a slick mouth on her. I didn't hear her really giving him slick mouth because he wasn't giving her an opportunity to give him a slick mouth. When she crossed that line, the moment she went too far is the moment he got her. He didn't give her a lot of chances to catch up. The moment she crossed it, he got her. He yoked her. Okay? And then he did what he does. He plays the dozens. He eats them alive, which is why Steve Harvey didn't want to debate him. Which is why Kevin Hart, who had a lot to say about Tiffany Haddish's accomplishments, he should have. But he didn't say one unkind word about Katt Williams, did he? No, because Katt Williams ain't having it. Nada, none. And I think a lot of people want to call him a drug addict. And they want to say he crazy and he bipolar because he has all of these things. Here's what you have to realize. Some of the most creative minds on this planet struggle. They struggle with depression. They struggle with merging into society. They struggle with being in large groups. Okay, we see this time and time again from people like Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Donny Hathaway. Just go back to some of the greatest minds out there that have either passed too soon or continue to struggle, because it's a lot to have a really, really creative mind, like to the point where you're borderline genius with this thing. I mean, the dude owns every last one of his comedy specials, lock, stock, and barrel. He said he's 50 years old. He never had a loan or a car lease in his life. All right. This people consider to be bragging. But what he's saying is, don't count me out. What he's saying is, it's no small thing. What he's saying is, yeah, Tiffany Haddish is good. Yeah, Kevin Hart is good. Okay, fine. They doing their thing, but they not the piece de resistance. Like they not it. They not the pinnacle. It's not the pinnacle. How can I have accomplished all of these things and they be pinnacle? Same thing he was saying about Melanie Camacho. Melanie Camacho is a comedian and Lunel. He considered them to be very, very funny people. He take them with him everywhere he go on tours. All right. He doesn't understand why Melanie Camacho hasn't been put on, but Tiffany Haddish has been put on. And he attested to be the fact that Melanie Camacho may be darker skin and Tiffany Haddish may be lighter skin. Okay. And I don't think he was calling Rail ugly, like physically ugly, because Rail isn't ugly. I think what he's saying is what mainstream puts on is that which is considered to be non-threatening. Now, I'm going to say this. I thought Rail was funny in the Carmichael show, but Rail's show, Rail on Fox right now, it's not funny. It's not funny. And it's got Just Hilarious in it. It's not funny. It's not. It's just, it's staged punchlines. Like you can see them coming a mile away. It's not funny. Katt Williams is a thinker. He's a thinker. Wanda never stood a chance, but she knew that. She knew she never stood a chance from the moment he began speaking about his career. Okay, maybe at that moment she still had adoration, so maybe she wasn't thinking about standing a chance. It wasn't like it started out combative, so I shouldn't even say that. But the moment he started speaking about his career, and then he started clearing some stuff up about Tiffany Haddish. He said what he said about Tiffany Haddish, but he did say he loved Tiffany Haddish. Good. The fact that she loved Tiffany Haddish, she was like, good. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm just telling you that, you know, she's spoon fed for the Caucasians. That this is what they want to see. And Wanda was like, was she real? She keeping it real. And he was like, really? Because we all know real people. Like, cut it. Like, he was just saying, cut that out. Like, stop putting more on it than what it is. Yeah. Listen, I think he had a very, very good point. And I read Tiffany Haddish's book. I liked it. I did. Now, of course, I don't know what's true and what's not true. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know her growing up. What she said in the book, I took it to be what it was. And he said, you name me one Tiffany Haddish joke you can name right now. And I cannot. And I read her book. I've seen her on a special where she lead a club and she walking on both sides of her feet. Like, I remember that. I'd never seen anyone do that before. That was funny. But I don't remember any Tiffany Haddish jokes. And he says the reason why is because she never did a tour. And when he said that, Wanda agreed. He agreed. She agreed. Okay, so we still have an amicable conversation. But when that moment happened where she decided that she was going to be Wanda in the morning, who runs the comedy from the gate, who's in charge of comedy from the rip, and she asked him about, well, do you cook for your kids? Do you cook? What do you cook? What are some things that you cook for your kids? What is it? Steak, spaghetti? What do you cook that your kids just absolutely love? And then he kind of started spitballing a little bit, but you know, he was thinking about it a little bit. And he was like, well, I have 3 girls. And, you know, he started talking about his kids being different and having to cook different things. And in true genius fashion, you know what I mean? This is just Katt Williams. If you go back to his first stand-up special, y'all, I'm telling you, he talks a lot about who his mom and dad were, being educated and that type of thing. The dude is a thinker. He really is. Now, he may smoke that weed. He may do whatever. I don't know what the specifics are of what's going on. A lot of who he is, I attribute it to being, having this brain, this mind, this gift, you know, and that could be a lot on a person. And it could make a person appear to be a little bit disoriented and not themselves sometimes, really, and they just thinking, they inside their own head. But anyway, I said all that because he broke it all the way down, $7 person, about $64, for a family of 7. And it was just like, woo, that within itself should have shut her up. That within itself lets you know you're dealing with somebody who's thinking outside the box. Like, he wasn't even gonna be like, oh, they love my chicken cacciatore. He just went ahead and gave it what for. And people said he asked her it was Red Grant that asked her, what do she like to cook? Okay, and he got on Red Grant too a little bit about his daughter and him thinking his daughter was cussing and all of that. And she was like, prior to this, he asked her, he says, you have 3 boys, right? And she said, yes. Aren't boys easier? This is what he says, sir. And she was like, they can be. And he was like, yeah, well, you look like you really haven't, cooked. Like, like her styling and stuff, the way she looked like she too busy to cook anymore. And she was like, cut it out. I cook then and now and all of this. And then Red Grant asked her, what do she like to cook? And she said broccoli. And when she said broccoli, it was a wrap. She lost at broccoli. Because he went on from there. And then from there, it was just like, even when he would slow down, even when he would stop and move on to something else and round it out, they were still kind of laughing and kidding at that moment. She went in about the hair. She went in about the clothes. And then he just started tagging her. And that's how the dozens is played. And that's how he played the dozens. Like, he didn't let up. And the thing about it is, Red Grant never stopped laughing. Red Grant was tickled as hell because Red Grant know Katt Williams. He worked with Katt Williams. This is what they do before they go out on show. They play the dozens. They joan each other out. There's a lot of comedians do this, right? He already knew that the dude was on one. He knew that Katt Williams was on one. Like, he smelled the blood in the water. He wasn't going to let up. And still, I've heard other YouTubers say that he was so horrible and so vicious to her. He was not. It was the dozens. Dude, he took it easy on her. Easy. Okay? I done grew up with some people that can really, really joan your socks off. Like, let you have it. Like, eat you alive. No, he took it easy on her. He never called her out of her name. He did say, if you have a cholesterol of over 600, but she said his suit was old, his clothes was old, and his hair needed to be done. She said that he had been to prison. He looked like Lil Mama. These was the comebacks, okay? And if it had been like an ordinary guest, like a regular guest, they probably would have laughed it off and be like, come on, Wanda. She would have seemed like the queen of comedy, right? Because it's her show. But because it was Katt Williams, he went into her cholesterol and her jewelry and what she bought. And I mean, everybody was laughing. The girl that was behind the glass was laughing. The producer was laughing. And every time they tried to cut it and go, she would try to say the last word and end it, and he wouldn't let her do it. He wouldn't let her have the last word. Just like he wasn't finna get up out of his seat and go over there and let her touch his hair, because that was a power move. He said, oh, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. But he ain't new to the game. People been coming for him for I don't know how long. So he ain't new to the game. He true to the game. You know what I'm saying? You just got joned on, girl. You lost. That's it. That's all. And for you to go into Monday's show and play it out like you the victim, like you had just gotten this incredible opportunity to go to speak to homeless people. Now you reading off your accolades. And I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm taking care of this and I'm doing that. And when I went to church on Sunday, girl, don't even try it. Don't even try it. Do not even try it, Wanda Smith. You got joned on, point blank, period. Frank Ski said out of his own mouth. You could have stopped it anytime you wanted to, but you didn't. You kept it going. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you do that with a lot of different people. Okay, and it ain't never been a problem. You said that you had a problem with the way everything was edited, and you had no idea. The producer that did the editing begged to differ with you, that you knew what was going on. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I had a problem with what was being videoed and what was being edited, I would have said out of my mouth, Frank Ski, Mr. Editor, I don't want that aired, point blank, period. I don't want that part aired. I don't want it on YouTube, but I don't want it nowhere. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that. You waited and it went viral. Like I said, when I first saw the video, they must have just dropped it. It had like 300 views, maybe less than that. The only reason I watched it is because I read Tiffany Haddish book. I liked it, and I love Katt Williams, and it said that Katt Williams was going off on Tiffany Haddish. I was like, boom, let me hear what he had to say, because Katt Williams really, really don't spit nothing but truth. Point blank, period. And if you look over what he said about Netflix, how they don't knock on your door, you knock on theirs, how they only pay you according to what your last ticket sales was for your last show, which means Monique only sold $300,000 in ticket sales, which is why she only got a $300,000 offer from Netflix. If you look over all of that and look at the fact that he played the dozens with Wanda and she lost, you missing the point. You missing the point of what he was saying altogether. And you see the exact reason why he is so frustrated with people nowadays, especially our people, because we don't really focus on what's important. We don't. Everybody talking about how he went in on Wanda. What about all this other stuff? He didn't really go in on Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart, in my opinion. In my opinion, I mean, a couple of us can tell some Kevin Hart jokes because he's been on tour. All right. But you tell me you saw Ride Along and you thought it was hilarious. You bought it. You got it in your collection. No, that show he do on BET with the other housewives or husbands is funnier than the movies he put out. Jumanji. Good night. He said, which I thought was poignant. He said that he did the intro for Tiffany Haddish in the movie School Dance. The clip, the commercial where he introduces the show and does like a little voiceover in a little few second commercial for the movie has made more money and grossed more views than the actual movie School Dance that Tiffany Haddish was in. I would be frustrated. I mean, he don't really have a reason to be frustrated, but he's frustrated for his peer group. He's frustrated for his circle. He's frustrated for those people who have been doing comedy repeatedly, selling out shows like he said for $2,500 a week, and they can't even get a chicken sandwich. That's what he was talking about. But she's not a person that goes deeper like that. She's a person that likes to stay on that comedy surface, which is why she brought up food and didn't want to open up a little bit more about why do you think the business is this way? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? She begged him to come in there. He didn't want to come in. He's not playing school with you guys. He's not bull crapping with you guys. He says what the truth is. You just gonna have to deal with it for what it is. Okay, and be prepared for it. That's what's up. And for her to be the victim now and try to blame the crew that she worked with, like, they all shut that down. They all shut that down. They said, Fransky said, you got just as much power as I have, and you could have shut it down just like you wanted me to shut it down. I thought y'all was playing the dozens. Y'all was doing what you all normally do. You go back and forth with people. That's what I thought was going on. We all thought it. Okay, and you never said unequivocally that you did not want any of that last part of that interview to be put out there in any form of fashion, because they said they wouldn't have never did it if you had said it. Okay, and then you gonna try to tell a story about how Katt Williams ran up on you and your husband and said, I told you you would go effing viral, it messing with me. And your husband tried to equip, and it turned into something more that you didn't want to go on further on into. But you got a minute to tell about how he rolled up on you. Me personally, I like to hear what Grant Red has to say. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear what some of those other producers in the studio was say, because they all seemed like you was crying wolf. They was all, Fransky included, all seemed like they was pacifying you and you was crying wolf. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. That's my take on the Katt Williams, Wanda Smith thing. It was funny. It was funny. And Frank Ski said, I got some stuff out there that I didn't want out there. I thought it was good at the time. When I look back on it, I didn't like it. But by that time, it was already out. It was already done. If she had just squashed it from the moment that it went out, if she had just squashed it and just said, that was funny, we hung out, that was it, played it off, it wouldn't have never went like it did. It probably would have went viral for a minute. But the fact that her husband came down and a gun was pulled some kind of way and somebody was chased and somebody ran, I don't know all the details of that. That'll come out a little bit later, like the specifics of that. But that's what made it go viral. You acting playing the victim is what really, really made it go all the way viral. Honestly, the stuff he said about Tiffany Haddish and the stuff he said, all of that is a 20-minute second. Now, somebody else might be breaking it up and just putting the part where he was joning her out. But I think the Tiffany Haddish tag and the Katt Williams tag is one of the reasons why people was watching it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and then sharing it. And then the fact that he read you for filth, girl. He did. He read you for filth, girl. And that's really what your problem is. Your problem is you got bested. Your problem is you bit off more than you could chew. And Katt Williams took you to school. He took you to task. He bent you over his knee and he spanked you ever so sweetly on your ass. Okay, and he sent you on your way and told you not to play with grown folks. That's what happened. That's what happened, and that's why you embarrassed. That's what happened. Okay, you guys, y'all tell me what you think. Put it down below. Did y'all see the video? Go back and look at the morning show, the 40-minute video where she talks about it and she plays the victim and I'm trying to help homeless people and I'm a good person. He's a good person. Go back and look at some of these videos where Katt Williams is giving hundreds and thousands of dollars to the youth, to nonprofits. I mean, other actors and actresses down on their luck. He's done a lot. Okay, so this is one of the reasons I think he's frustrated, is we want to pigeonhole him as a drug addict and crazy and bipolar. And we're not even trying to remotely recognize just how unique and wonderful this guy is. He really is. He ain't for everybody, but the dude is not by any means, he's not by any means to be trifled with. You're not finna play him out for dust. Katt Williams has a great body of work. Absolutely. That's just my opinion. Y'all tell me what you think. Put it down below. Until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.